Hey everybody, this is Rebel Builder and I have here a first order TIE bomber MOC. Now this is a vehicle that is not something that we actually saw in The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi. There was a little glimpse of a schematic that we saw in the ship that DJ, Rose, and Finn escaped from Canto Bight. And there's also this book, The Art of The Last Jedi. I really love these art books for the movies. They're full of great ideas. But if we flip to this page here, it's a concept art image of the Battle of Crate. We see the AT-M6s, the First Order ATs here, lots of TIE fighters, and of course up here is a little squadron of TIE bombers. We also saw this image as a promotional poster on Force Friday when a lot of these sets first came out. So somebody was thinking about the TIE bomber in The Last Jedi. It's too bad we didn't actually see it. Of course it doesn't make much sense tactically for the Battle of Crate. But for now, we're just stuck with our imaginations. So building this is something that's been on my brain for a long time, and it was actually a very cool experience for me because if you're familiar with my channel and my other builds, you'll see that this is very similar to my original Trilogy TIE bomber. And what I did is I actually took my own parts list, my own PDF instructions, and uploaded the parts list to Bricklink and changed out a lot of the colors. Now it was kind of a hard process. I didn't get it right all the first time. I ended up having to order a few extra parts. And I did have quite a few of these parts in my collection already. But my first step was to just build it based on my instructions. So it was at first exactly built like the original Trilogy TIE bomber. And that was a cool experience because I got to actually experience what those instructions are like and kind of think about things I'd like to do different. And over the course of the build, there was a few things internally that, I got to revisit. And that's a process that you could go over and over and over with. And, you just have to call it done at some point. But I ended up with just a solid black and light bluish gray version of the TIE bomber. And that in itself looks very striking. I do like the color contrast between these two colors. And from there, I needed to modernize it just a little bit. I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. I didn't want to come up with a whole new design, but I needed to kind of make it first order, modernize some of the things, little details here and there. And I didn't go super crazy, but I did swap out a few things. And of course, as you can see, I had to add little splashes of red. Now, I don't know what really makes something a Special Forces first order vehicle versus just a regular first order vehicle. We do know that there's two different versions of the TIE fighter, but I just thought this build was so black, it had so much in the middle, especially, in these long cylinders, that it needed a little splash of red. And of course, doing this, I did some experiments. I did kind of mimic at first the look of the First Order Special Forces TIE fighter, where kind of part of this was all red. I decided not to go that route. It just kind of seemed a bit too much. So I just added little splashes of detail, a little red cheese slope, a little red slope with the grill there. Those are some of my favorite parts. And I did a few other things, like you can see here, I've got those bars with the handle on them, just to add a little more detail that mimics that other Lego set. And of course in the front, I've got the transparent red windscreen. It's a very sharp looking piece. Now for this section, I went back and forth with a few different things color-wise. I had all black here at first and it just didn't stand out, so I wanted to make a change. At first I had a dark bluish gray round tile there and kind of flipped them back and forth and ended up settling on putting these gray plates with hooks instead of the black. And on the top here I have a few more splashes of red. You can see the grill tiles. Those are very handy pieces to use. But some of the biggest changes I did were to the Greeblings up on this top section here. I streamlined it a little bit here, and especially in this first section. And I had a couple of new pieces. I have these 1x1 round tiles here. So I thought that was something that was really cool to use. And so I just kind of created these two little splashes of red here. And also in the back here, you can see I changed this up to some red cheese slopes, a couple of black lightsaber handles. You know, I wanted to keep the kind of mechanical look of the TIE Bomber, but again, just trying to change it up a little bit to show that some technology has evolved over the years. And in the back here, I have the same engine design, you know, little splash of dark bluish gray here with the red engines. It just kind of needed a little color to break up from the black. The black does get overwhelming in Lego. I think it's so shiny that sometimes the details get lost in those things. So you just kind of got to throw these splashes of color in, and that's a balance. You really got to be careful not to overdo it. And that was my, you know, tightrope to walk too with the red. I could have overdone the red. In fact, I had more red and ended up pulling some off just to kind of balance it out. But here on the wings, you know, this is the exact same design. You know, of course, this little round tile with the pattern on it that comes from the First Order TIE Fighter. And the design for this section down here, I've seen it called a lot of different things, but I did change the shape a little bit. There's less slopes on it. I've got some grill tiles in the front and just kind of tiled the sides a little more, and it's hard to see, but I do have some red grill tiles under there. Now I had to keep a few of my favorite details, like I really like using these black battle droid arms. And another cool thing I did is for this section in here, you know, this is 3 studs wide. If you've done this build before, you know that there's, you know, some 2x1 jumpers under here. So this time I got to use a new part. I actually used those 1x3 jumpers with the 2 studs in them. It was really cool to be able to use those new parts. Of course, the cockpit is a bit smoother here too, and this lifts up and you can see the pilot inside. And of course, the pilot's hard to see, so I can just pull up this little section here. You can see I used the First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter pilot. He's really cool. I love that they finally added those red stripes to that helmet, and he makes a great pilot for this ship. So that's all for my First Order TIE Bomber MOC. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we actually do see these in episode 9, so we still have some hope. This is cool. It makes a cool addition to my collection of First Order TIE Fighters. But I'd love to hear what you guys think, so leave me a comment down below. Let's share some thoughts about this thing. I'd appreciate a thumbs up on this video as always. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'm always working hard on new videos. I've got some cool ideas for builds coming this year. You don't want to miss out on those. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back soon.